Pamela and her husband's faces turned white upon hearing the news. What? Poor body condition? Not qualified to participate in the training camp? Is there a mix-up here? They were caught in utter disbelief. We know William's capabilities well. He is definitely strong enough to take part in the training camp. The door was pushed open again while they fell into a daze. Two waiters brought William into the room as he lay on a stretcher. Two men from the army followed behind them. They were tasked to send William back. He is really here. What happened? Pamela asked in a hurry. But William saw Levi from the corner of his eyes when he was about to speak. Arg, he passed out again. The soldiers sneered. Look at that. This is the 8th time he fainted. How can he participate in the training camp in that condition? They were puzzled as well. What's wrong with him? He blacked out whenever we mentioned the god of war. But this time, he fainted before anyone said anything. Pamela talked to one of the soldiers. Is there any chance for William Ramos to re-enter the training camp? I am afraid that is not possible. He passed out in front of the god of war. That is considered an offensive act. The king of war, Kiran, is very displeased with him. I believe that William Ramos's career is ruined from today onwards. The soldier answered honestly. He disrespected the god of war. That is a gutsy move. The other soldier added sarcastically. Pamela and Bailey were unsettled by the soldier's elaboration. Did he offend the god of war? Even the Rogers family and the Black family do not have the courage to do that. No one had the interest to continue with the meal after the soldiers left. William regained consciousness after some time. He was about to pass out again when he saw Levi after he woke up. But Levi quickly ordered, "Don't faint again." William finally recomposed himself, but his face was filled with terror and his mind was blank. What happened, child? Pamela asked. I saw the god of war, William stammered. But why did you pass out? Bailey and Pamela were caught in perplexity. That's because the god of war is. William looked at Levi in fright as he spoke. He wanted to inform them of the truth about Levi's identity, but the words were stuck in his throat. The privacy rules of the army surfaced in his mind. I will be exposing classified information protected by the army if I tell them about the god of war's identity. Everyone gazed at Levi as well. A thought popped into their minds. Perhaps he's trying to tell us that Levi is the god of war? The resemblance between the man seated inside the car and Levi is too uncanny. They waited for William to complete his sentence anxiously. Finally, William uttered, "The god of war is my idol. My body is weak, so I fainted when I saw him. I am a huge embarrassment to everyone." Oh, I see. You almost scared me there. I thought you're trying to tell us that Levi is the god of war. Pamela breathed a sigh of relief. That's fine. Take a good rest to recover your health. You don't have to participate in the training camp anymore. Pamela consoled him. Bailey eyed Levi and asked the question in his mind, "Did you see him at the training base today, William?" Yes. William gave Levi a look with complicated emotions in his eyes. What? So you really went? Pamela and the others were in disbelief. Mr. Black, Madam Rogers, please take me away for now. I would like to rest. William did not have the courage to stay a second longer in the same room as Levi. We are not finishing the meal anymore. We'll be leaving now, Pamela said. Aaron and Caitlin were worried. Have you forgiven us then? Yes. I've accepted his apology. By the way, you are allowed to attend Mother's birthday banquet this year. She has accepted your return to the family, Bailey Black answered. Caitlin was delighted after she was informed of the news. I can finally attend Mother's birthday banquet since I left my home 20 years ago. We will be there, Aaron said emotionally. We can hold our heads high by the time we attend the banquet because Zoe's project is progressing well. Caitlin glanced at Levi happily after Pamela and her family left. All right. We will forgive you this time. Aaron pleaded with his wife sincerely. Will you allow me to hang out with my friends tonight, Caitlin? Fine. Off you go. Take this bank card with you. I'm warning you now. Do not gamble tonight. Caitlin handed a credit card to Aaron. Levi knew Aaron was a gambling addict since a long time ago. He lost a lot of money in the past. I even had to clear his debt previously. Caitlin forbids him from taking part in those entertainments afterwards. He's not allowed to drink with friends too. I suppose she's making an exception today because her return has been accepted by the Black family today. All right. I have quit gambling for a long time now. Aaron was elated like a child. Levi was amused by his behavior. He's a typical henpecked man. The four of them parted ways afterward. Aaron went to meet up with his friends. They were tipsy after gulping a few bottles of wine down. Alex Glenn placed his arm around Aaron's shoulder. I heard there's a new underground casino in Northampton. Why don't we try out our luck there? Aaron shook his head. No way. I made a promise to my wife not to gamble anymore. Don't worry. We are just going to play a few rounds to try out our luck. You won't lose any money, Alex persuaded him. That's right. We did not bring a lot of money with us anyway. We'll play in small amounts, just for fun. What if we get lucky? Do you know Andrew Zafer from the marketplace? I heard he earned $800,000 from the casino with a mere $3,000 starting amount. He's right. We are so jealous of him. Aaron's resolution wavered as his friends convinced him. Fine. I'll go. But I have to say this in advance. I can only fork out $5,000. Sure. Aaron and the gang headed toward the underground casino together. Aaron was especially excited when they arrived at the venue. A man, dressed lavishly with a glass of red wine in his hand, was seated on the second floor of the casino while he gazed at the crazed gamblers beneath him. He asked with a smile, Aaron Lopez is here? Yes, Mr. Rogers. The men engaged in that conversation were none other than Oswald Rogers and Howard Corbin. Oswald sneered while looking at Aaron. I have been thinking of ways to target all of you, but here you are, offering to step into my trap on your own accord. Howard sought out Oswald's opinion. How should we proceed, Mr. Rogers? He's going to lose. We'll make him lose everything. Even the Lopez family will not be able to cover his debt. I am going to force Levi to his death with this staggering amount of money. Oswald grinned like a madman. Howard nodded. I'll make the necessary arrangements, Mr. Rogers. I will make sure to let Aaron Lopez learn his lesson well this time. Aaron was oblivious to the incoming danger that awaited him. He was enjoying himself to his heart's content at that moment. He had won for a few consecutive rounds and earned roughly $100,000. On his 10th straight win, Aaron's earnings accumulated to a few million. Alex and the others persuaded Aaron to continue with his gambling. "You're too lucky today, Aaron. Go on. Let's go big. 10 million is easily achievable. With your insane luck tonight." A gambling addict caught up in his moment of glory often lost his ability to think rationally. Aaron was confident he could bring home 10 million by the time he was done gambling that night. Zoe and Levi were startled awake by the ringing from their phones in the middle of the night. Caitlin had dialed their numbers relentlessly. Zoe was wide awake the moment she answered the call. "What? Oh my God." Her face went paper white as the phone slipped out of her hand and fell onto the floor with a thud. Levi asked immediately, "What's wrong?" Zoe sobbed. "Father went to the casino and lost 300 million. He's being detained right now because he was caught cheating." "What? 300 million? How did he lose so much money?" Levi frowned. "Something's wrong. Someone must have set a trap for Aaron." "Where is he?" Levi added. "I don't know. Let's meet up with Mom for now." Caitlin was already tear-stricken by the time Levi and Zoe arrived. Levi floored the accelerator toward the underground casino after Caitlin informed them of the location. The atmosphere inside the casino was unbearable. Deafening noises and cigarette smoke lingered in the air. A few muscular men came in front of Levi, Zoe, and Caitlin. "Who are you people?" they inquired fiercely. Levi stated the aim of their visit directly. "We are here to look for Aaron Lopez." "Oh. You are that cheater's family. Follow me." They led Levi and the others to the second floor. Levi sounded the situation out in the meantime. "What happened here?" "Actually, Aaron Lopez cheated after he started to lose money. Then we caught him red-handed. How dare he cheats after losing 300 million to the casino? We need to follow the rules here and chop off his fingers." One of the men sneered. Zoe and Caitlin were frightened as their faces turned to the shade of chalk. More than 10 men stood menacingly inside a large private room on the second floor with batons in their hands. Levi, Zoe, and Caitlin caught the distinctive smell of blood the moment they entered the room. A person was lying on the floor in a curled position. His body twitched faintly in a pool of blood. "Dad. Aaron." Zoe and Caitlin rushed forward when they recognized the person to be Aaron Lopez. Levi grimaced when he saw how terribly beaten Aaron was. "Save me. Save me, please." Aaron yelped fearfully when he saw his family. The few thugs surrounded Levi and the others instantaneously. A scary-looking man sat on the sofa with a gold necklace around his neck, dressed in a leopard-printed shirt. He tossed a cigarette butt on the floor and crushed it with his foot. Then he looked up. "Are you Aaron Lopez's family members?" "Yes. That's right. He's my father-in-law." Levi met that man's eyes. "Let me introduce myself. I am the owner of this casino. My name is Enzo Fielder. Everyone refers to me as Mr. Enzo." Enzo pointed at Aaron. "Your father-in-law lost 300 million to the casino and tried to trick us. According to the rules of this casino, he will have to settle the 300 million debt and let us chop off all 10 of his fingers to settle the score. Otherwise, he's going to die here." "Hee hee." Enzo threatened Levi and the others. Zoe and Caitlin were trembling in a terror-stricken manner. Aaron cowered in Caitlin's arms as his body quaked uncontrollably. Levi sized up his surroundings and said mockingly, "Why do I feel that this casino is not a place of such high standards that someone could lose 300 million in a night?" "Humph. That's because your father-in-law took a great risk. He thought he could win 100 million after earning 10 million. So who is to blame for his greediness? More importantly, no one can condone his cheating behavior in this place." Enzo waved his hand. Alex and the others were dragged forward swiftly. "Tell them whether I'm speaking of the truth or not," Enzo ordered. Alex and his friends answered immediately. "Yes. That is the truth. We told Aaron to stop after he won 10 million. But he wanted to continue gambling to win more money. So he brought this on himself for losing ultimately. We did not expect him to cheat afterwards. Why do we have a friend like you?" "Aaron?" Aaron looked at his friends incredulously in a daze. "All of you framed me. You set a trap to frame me," Aaron roared. Alex glowered at him. "Did we force you to do anything? You made all the decisions on your own accord." Aaron fell silent. "True, no one forced me to do anything. I did everything willingly. I can only blame my own greediness." Zoe understood that it was a setup, so she whispered to Levi, "Should we call the cops?" "No. Calling the cops will only worsen the situation. They might resort to desperate measures if we do that," Levi answered. Unfortunately, Enzo overheard their conversation. He sneered. "Call the cops? Sure, go ahead and do that. He borrowed the money from others, so we have written proof as well as the various documents he mortgaged to us. We carried out every procedure according to the law. Please feel free to contact the cops. The court will confiscate the Lopez family's business and properties by that time." Everyone looked at Aaron in bewilderment. Aaron nodded. "I did mortgage the family house and business. I deliberately went to the Lopez family house to steal the documents after I lost all my money. I wanted to get the money to turn the tables around. But I lost everything instead and even incurred a 300 million debt on myself. Please don't tell my father about this. He will kill me if he knows what I've done," Aaron said hurriedly. Enzo jeered at Levi and the others. "Do you want to call the cops? It's up to you to make the decision." Zoe was clueless as to how she should react to the unexpected turn of events. Levi grimaced. "They clearly planned every move to target us." "Have you made up your mind?" Enzo asked. "We will not call the cops, and will return the money. But we do not have 300 million with us right now. Can you give us a few days to collect the sum?" Zoe proposed. "Sure. No problem," Enzo added mockingly. "I am not worried at all. If all of you disappear, then I will look for Harry Lopez instead. But can you please don't chop off my father's fingers?" Zoe pleaded for mercy. "I'll do you a favor. You can bring him away now. But for every extra day you fail to return the money, I will chop off one of his fingers." Enzo smiled sinisterly. "All right. We agree." Levi brought Aaron and his family away from the casino in the end. Caitlin was on the verge of tears when they reached the entrance. "What should we do? Where can we find 300 million at a moment's notice? We have no other choice but to say that we'll return the money. This is the best we can do to delay the situation from turning south immediately," Zoe lamented. Aaron rebuked Levi when he saw the smiling expression on the latter's face. "Why are you smiling? Why don't you come up with a solution instead, you useless piece of shit?" I could have settled this issue effortlessly if my son-in-law is a capable person. Regretfully, you are a good-for-nothing piece of crap. You are to blame for everything that has happened today. Levi was stunned after listening to Aaron. He looked at his father-in-law in disbelief. Is he blaming me for his own wrongdoings? Zoe was slightly upset. What are you saying, Dad? You caused this mess yourself. Levi has got nothing to do with this matter. Don't give me that nonsense. He could have paid for the $300 million debt easily if he's as successful as before. But he doesn't even have a single dime with him now. Aaron stared at Levi hatefully. Aren't you capable? You said you're acquainted with the god of war, right? Can you handle this mess now? You must divorce Zoe if you fail to take care of this matter. I am a man of my word. Aaron vented all his pent-up anger at Levi after the horrible experience he underwent. Caitlin glared at him. What are you talking about? That's not important. The most important thing is to find a way to collect $300 million as soon as possible. Let's go home now. Enzo dialed a number after Levi and the others left. I've executed your orders, Mr. Rogers. Okay. You can pay Harry Lopez a visit directly after a few hours. The person on the other end of the phone replied. Aaron suggested when they arrived home, honey, only your brother, Bailey, can help us now. Let's borrow money from them while they are still in the city. You are only going to infuriate them for knocking on their doors in the middle of the night. We'll wait until tomorrow before we do anything. Caitlin glowered at her husband. Zoe asked her father with a grim expression, what happened exactly? Dad? Aaron described everything in detail from the beginning. He had won multiple rounds consecutively and accumulated winnings up to $10 million initially. But when he seized the opportunity to gamble further, he began to lose. I realize now that I've been tricked. Alex and his friends are a group of bastards. Aaron snarled. Zoe nodded. That was indeed a trap. We have two ways of resolving this issue now. The first way is to return the money. The second method is to investigate this matter and find out the person who set you up. Personally, I think the second method is a wiser choice. We should investigate deeper before we pay them. Levi offered his idea. Aaron stared at him fiercely. Are you suggesting that on purpose? Did you not listen to what they said? Now you're telling me to wait and spend time to carry out an investigation? By the time we find out anything, I'll be left fingerless and even toeless. All right, let's not argue anymore. We'll go to my brother's place to borrow money from them come morning. Caitlin was displeased. Levi left the house quietly afterward. Zoe wanted to think of an alternative solution, so she left as well. The next morning, everyone in the Lopez family was still sound asleep when someone busted the door open with a loud bang. A group of burly men covered in tattoos rushed into the house in an imposing manner. They went straight to the Lopez family's living room. Harry and the others hurriedly checked out the situation as they were startled by the commotion. All of them were frightened by the unwelcoming sight. What are you doing? You're trespassing on private property, so don't you dare do anything to us. Harry bellowed in rage. Enzo threw Aaron's IOU at Harry without saying a word. Harry and the others were shocked after reading the note. What? Aaron owes you $300 million? He even mortgaged the Lopez family's properties and business? Harry's vision went black as he nearly fainted. Enzo said with a smile, that's right. All the Lopez family's possessions are mortgaged to me now, including this house. Aaron Lopez even brought me all the necessary documents, so we are simply following the legal procedures here. Harry hurriedly went to look for the mortgage documents, but he soon realized all the documents were stolen. I was wondering to myself why Aaron sneaked into the house last night. So he came here to steal the documents. Henry said angrily. You better pay me $300 million as soon as possible, now that I own all your properties and business. I will have the court to confiscate these possessions if you do not cough up the money. Enzo urged the Lopez family in a joyful manner. Harry Lopez did not say a word. I had not distributed the Lopez family's inheritance previously. So Aaron's IOU is legally binding because of his status as my descendant. You son of a B***TCH Aaron Lopez. Harry was seething with rage. You have 1 day to return the money to me. Otherwise, I'm sure you know what consequences await you. Enzo left after he spoke. All hell broke loose in the Lopez family. Let's go to Aaron's place right away. Aaron and Caitlin were about to depart from their house at sunrise. Bang, bang, bang. Someone banged on their door impatiently. A group of people rushed into the house with Harry leading the way after. Aaron unlocked the door. He slapped his son across the face without a second thought. What a dumb son I have. What have you done? Then Harry slapped Aaron a few more times. You already know, father? Aaron asked timidly while covering his face. A bunch of people came to stir up a ruckus at the family house early in the morning. What do you think? Harry panted heavily. Fabian said with a grimace, you better start talking. Henry sneered. I heard you lost the money because you gambled again? You are just like your son-in-law, always failing to correct your bad habits. Harry fixated his eyes on Aaron. I'll chop off your ears if you do not explain everything clearly today. Aaron glanced at Caitlin before he began. This is all Levi Garrison's fault. What? How is this matter related to him? Harry asked in surprise. Aaron nodded. Levi lost the money because he went to the casino. I had no other choice but to steal the documents because they wanted to kill Levi on the spot. He knew his family would beat him up if he informed them of the truth while their anger was at the boiling point. So he placed all the blame on Levi instead. They did not trust Aaron's words at that moment, so everyone turned to look at Caitlin. Caitlin said through her gritted teeth, that's right. It's all because of Levi Garrison. Aaron has already quit gambling for 6 years now. Levi has been gambling because he wants to become rich. Do you still remember the money we paid back previously, father? Harry nodded. Of course. Don't tell me that Levi earned that $5 million through gambling? Caitlin nodded. That's right. He did not borrow the money but got it through gambling. This time, he lost $300 million. Henry questioned her, but I verified this myself. He really did borrow the money. Caitlin responded with a question on her own. Do you think he can borrow that large amount of money without anything to mortgage, Henry? Henry understood instantaneously. Now I get it. The bank loaned him the money because he has the capability to return the money through gambling. Caitlin's speech convinced every member of the Lopez family. Aaron gave his wife a thumbs up internally. She's brilliant. We've successfully placed all the blame on Levi with that perfect excuse. Aaron seized the moment and said, don't you see why Levi is not here? That's because he fled in advance. Harry was infuriated to his limits. I'm going to kill you, Levi Garrison. Let's go and find Levi now. Everyone left angrily. Aaron drew in a deep breath after the Lopez family had left. They were safe for now. Phew, honey, you sure are smart. Aaron didn't forget to give Caitlin a word of compliment. Hurry up and go look for my brother and Pamela. Or you'll be the one to lose a finger. Caitlin said as she rolled her eyes at him. The two immediately rushed to the Marriott Hotel. Is there something you want for you to see us at this hour? Pamela asked. Bailey, Pamela, I'll cut to the chase then. We want to borrow $300 million from you. We're in need of money for our business. Don't worry about us not paying you back. You guys should know about Zoe's project. It's a project worth more than $1 billion. $300 million will definitely not be a problem. Aaron and Caitlin went straight to the question of money. Pamela and Bailey exchanged glances. We need to discuss this first. After half an hour, the two agreed to lend them $300 million. Mainly because Zoe's project was guaranteed to succeed. That's great. Aaron was exhilarated. However, at this moment, Pamela's phone rang. It was Oswald. Pamela answered the call. Oswald, what's the matter? Aunt Pamela, I have something to tell you. Pamela gave Aaron and Caitlin a puzzled look. Her expression took on a drastic change the more she listened to Oswald. Okay, I got it. I won't lend it then. After hanging up the phone, Pamela snapped, You people were lying? Do you really need money for your business? Aaron, you've lost $300 million from gambling, didn't you? Get lost, now. Bailey's fury sprang to life when he learned about the truth. Come see us again only after you settled your debt. Then the couple kicked Aaron and Caitlin out, leaving them stupefied. Why did they change their mind after answering one phone call? What do we do now? Aaron sweated with anxiety. On the other side, Zoe was trying to find a solution as well, but the most she could come up with was $50 million. She was at her wit's end, as they had already invested the rest of the money in the project. Besides, the project would have to be suspended as well if she took that $50 million away. It was to check on this matter that Levi had left early this morning. However, the strange thing was that the other party clearly didn't cheat. It was Aaron who lost the money after gambling with an expert. It was clearly a deception, yet it was seamless. There must be something fishy. I can definitely find out the truth if I call the cops, but Aaron will have to be imprisoned, and Zoe will be heartbroken if that happens. Levi didn't want that to see that. He could have easily paid up that $300 million, but he wanted to find out the mastermind behind this scheme first. Everyone had thought of every possible way, but they just couldn't get the money together. Dread gnawed at Aaron's insides at the thought of having his fingers chopped off tomorrow. Honey, what should I do? Think of something. I don't want to have my fingers chopped off. Aaron shouted anxiously. Caitlin creased her brows. I heard Zoe will contact major investors next to borrow money, but I'm afraid it'll take a little longer. Probably a few days. Few days? I don't have a few days. My fingers will be chopped off in a few days, that's for sure. Aaron got all sweaty. So find someone to replace you during these few days. There was a bright light in Aaron's eyes. You mean I should put Levi on the spot and have his fingers chopped off on my behalf? Who else do you think if not Levi? You've thrown the blame on him. Anyway. Caitlin gave him an angry stare. Aaron nodded in approval. That's right. He's just a good-for-nothing. What's the big deal with having his fingers chopped off? He has to rely on us to feed him, anyway. That's going to be the biggest contribution he's ever made for the family. Caitlin sighed. But the problem is Zoe. If she finds out, she definitely will not agree to this. We'll just hide from her then and tell her that the casino is giving us a few more days. We'll trick Levi to come over and have him go in my stead. Aaron said. Then we'll have to call Dad and the others over to impose a little pressure on him. They've been looking for him all day, but to no avail, Caitlin said. Aaron quickly made the arrangements. After learning the news of the postponement for a few days, Zoe was much more relieved, but she didn't stop looking for solutions. When Harry heard that Levi had been found, he immediately rushed over. Thereafter, Aaron gave Enzo a call, asking if he could let Levi take his place. To his surprise, Enzo agreed at once. After hanging up, Enzo called Oswald. Mr. Rogers, you were right. The Lopez family is using Levi as a substitute. Okay. Let's make it a slow and terrible ordeal for Levi. Send me the footage of his fingers chopped off tomorrow. Oswald's cold and crazed voice sounded from over the phone. Levi's investigation was beginning to take shape when Aaron called. Levi, come quick. Things have changed. Come straight to the casino. Hanging up the phone, Levi made a beeline for the casino. He realized Harry and the others were there when he arrived. Upon seeing him, they charged forward, pushing and shoving him. What the hell? Did you lose 300,000 in gambling? You fucking ruined the Lopez family. You're going to destroy the Lopez family. I'm going to kill you. Utterly confused, Levi stared at the crowd incredulously. Me, gambling? It dawned on him that Aaron and Caitlin had put the blame on him when he noticed their unnatural demeanor from afar. Thus, it was inevitable that Harry and the others would vent their anger on him as they didn't know the truth. Aaron seized the chance to come forward, scolding, "Take responsibility for what you've done, Levi. Yeah. Take care of it yourself. The mass put in their 2 penny worth." Aaron pulled Levi to a side and said sternly, "You will go to meet Mr. Enzo on my behalf later. Or I'll get Zoe to divorce you if you refuse. I have your marriage certificate and household registration in my hands, so I mean what I say. You'll be our best son-in-law if you go in Aaron's stead." Caitlin added. "We won't cast you aside even if you've lost all your fingers. Zoe and we will support you for the rest of your life." "Yeah, hurry up and agree. It doesn't matter if you lose a finger anyway," Aaron said in a low voice. Disappointment. What a disappointment. Levi could only feel the indifference and coldness of humanity. How could they do this to me when the chips are down? If it weren't for Zoe, he wouldn't have wanted to stay in this home. However, Aaron and Caitlin had no other choice. "What are you people hesitating for? Send him out and let him take care of everything," Harry urged. At this moment, Enzo came with his men, surrounding Levi and the others. "He'll go." Before Levi could react, he was pushed out by Aaron and Caitlin. "Levi Garrison, right? Take him away," said Enzo with a sneer. With that, Levi was taken away by Enzo's followers. Aaron and Caitlin heaved a sigh of relief. "Let's go now before we get dragged into this." Aaron and Caitlin departed instantly, afraid that Enzo would go back on his words. "I'm wondering if we can push everything on Levi," said Aaron with a frown. After leaving the underground casino, Caitlin's expression changed slightly. You mean to transfer the $300 million debt to Levi and then get him to divorce Zoe and cut off all ties with him? Yeah. That would be killing two birds with one stone. We don't have to pay the money back and we can send away that odious brat. Drop it, you. You're the one who lost the money, and you signed the agreement. How are you going to do that? Aaron sighed, his heart sinking. I need to think of a way. In the casino, Levi was brought into a small and dark room. Enzo sat in front of him, surrounded by sturdy men. Your father-in-law has pushed you out to have your fingers chopped off on behalf of him, Levi Garrison, said Enzo with a bloodthirsty smile. Are you ready? Enzo picked up a sharp machete that glowed under the lights. To the side were people holding cameras in their hands, ready to film. It was an assignment from Oswald to film the process of Levi having his fingers chopped off. Hold it right there, said Levi suddenly. Enzo grinned, revealing his rows of gold teeth. Why? Are you afraid? Haha. Levi said nothing and silently lit a cigarette. Cough. The next second, everyone was choking and coughing violently. What on earth does that cigarette contain? Enzo asked, inspecting the cigarette. The smoke is so strong. I think it's a special cigarette from the war zone, Mr. Enzo, said a thug uncertainly. My childhood friend who's a soldier gave me one before. The tobacco scent is really strong. Everyone's expression changed at the mention of the special cigarette. Enzo snorted. Drop it, you guys. You think a crook who just came out of prison can smoke a cigarette like that? Levi took a puff of his cigarette and said calmly, Tell me who instructed you to do this before I finish smoking this cigarette or you'll be sorry for this. Enzo and his men burst into laughter. Levi's going to get his fingers chopped off. Why is he even threatening me? Everyone looked at Levi as if he was a fool. Who exactly is having it worse? Enzo guffawed. Is this kid crazy? Don't worry. It won't hurt. It's just one cut. There's not much time left, said Levi, looking at the cigarette that was about to burn out. You'll be really, really sorry for this if you choose to remain silent. Enzo and his men snickered. Okay then, show us what you got. We'd like to see what you are going to do to us after smoking that cigarette. Everyone watched as Levi finished smoking the cigarette, threw it to the ground, and stomped it out. He lifted his head and glanced at Enzo and his men. You'll soon regret this. Regret, my foot. Not before I chop off your hand. Shook with fury, Enzo lifted the knife in his hand suddenly. Bang! The door suddenly collapsed with a deafening crash, causing Enzo to stop in fright. In the next second, sturdy men with different skin colors but uniformly dressed in suits rushed in from the outside. With an average height of over 6 feet 2, they stood there like mountains. These people were none other than James and other mercenaries that Rick had hired. They were currently hiding in the shadows, serving as Levi's bodyguards. It was through the signal Levi had left that they found this place. Attack! James commanded, and with a loud howl, the mercenaries pounced on their prey like tigers dashing down a mountain. Bang! Crackle! Despite being at the top of their class, the thugs at the casino were not at the same level as the mercenaries who had been in and out of the battlefield all year round. They were all knocked down in less than a minute, unable to deal with James and his mercenaries' mortal blows. While the thugs bathed in blood, their faces disfigured, Enzo was the last man standing. Beat him! Levi ordered expressionlessly. James grabbed Enzo's face and punched him hard. After 7 to 8 consecutive blows, Enzo's face sank in and was beyond recognition. The shrill cries like those of a pig being slaughtered reverberated in the small and dark room. They'd never expected Levi to have so many bodyguards with extremely high combat effectiveness following him. "Well, what did I say?" Levi scoffed, looking condescendingly at the battered thugs. "Now, spit it out." After being forced to take Aaron's place, Levi figured out that instead of investigating, he might as well use violence to make these people speak. "I can't," Enzo said in fear. "I'll be as good as dead." "Beat him. Beat him until he speaks up," Levi said coldly. James and the others were militant and enjoyed crushing their enemies. At his command, they grew more violent, giving Enzo the most terrible beating. Until everyone was beaten half dead, Enzo raised his arms to surrender. "I'll speak. I'll tell you everything." James yanked him toward Levi. It was Howard Corbin of Levi Group. "We were forced into this," Enzo confessed, but not daring to mention Oswald's name. However, Levi knew at once that it was Oswald. He glanced at the camera on the table and chuckled. It was he who asked, "You to film the chopping of my fingers?" "Yes." Enzo nodded. Levi gave James a look. He immediately understood as he pinned Enzo to the table and put his hand on it, slowly lifting the sharp knife. Next to him, another mercenary took the camera. "No. No." Sensing the situation, Enzo yelled at the top of his lungs. "Arf." Then he let out a terrible scream. Thereafter, Levi asked Enzo to send out the video, which Howard showed to Oswald upon receiving it. "Ha ha ha. Did you hear his scream? I can't believe a human is capable of making that sound." Oswald had a good laugh. "Howard, send this video anonymously to everyone in the Lopez family, including Zoe," he instructed. Very soon, everyone in the Lopez family received the video. Seeing that the person in the video had his fingers chopped off brutally, Aaron felt a flash of terror, his expression turning for the worse. "Damn. That was too scary. Thank God that wasn't me. They really mean it." Caitlin got the scare of her life, and so did Harry and the others. Zoe, who was still on the hunt for a solution, almost threw her phone to the ground after looking at the footage that she had received suddenly. Dad's fingers were chopped off? Was he trying to comfort me when he said that it was postponed for a few days? Zoe quickly made a call. "Dad, what happened to you? Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Aaron said. "Then who was it who had his fingers chopped off?" Zoe asked in confusion. It was Levi," Aaron faltered. "What? Levi? How could it be?"